We didn't see.
See, that's me, the servant.
Oh, my goodness.
So I did this, added in this little self-portrait, just kind of made it up out of my head almost. There was no reference for the face. And, just in like a Hitchcock sort of way, including myself in the show. Hi, my name is Scott Nickerson. I am a painter as well as an instructor. We are here at Colorest Studios in Red Bank, New Jersey, where we hold several painting classes. Don't overblend it and just kind of mush everything. When you blend and just soften the brushwork out, but always maintain the changes in planes. I'm always trying to figure out what each student needs and what would help them the best to kind of move them along, I guess, with progressing. I had mentioned, driving past the building, and I showed a little bit of interest in just using that maybe as a backdrop to some paintings. This is the first painting that I started. And it was painted on site, and initially a lot of the work was done on site, on location. So that became kind of difficult in transporting everything back and forth. So then we started going into more working from reference, different photo references. But this was all completed on site, and as it turns out, in the painting of the building, I did use the reference, which includes the French easel, which that canvas was resting on, which is right in here, which shows the perspective of where I was originally standing here to paint, looking out this way at that Sphinx there. And there's a little crowd gathering looking at the painting. I did a lot of studies on site from the building and the surroundings, and then other pieces were kind of completed from different reference that I had taken, and especially the two that were kind of pulled from the movie Annie, which was filmed at the building in the 1980s. So I used just different stills from the film and then incorporated them into certain rooms of the building that I wanted to really touch on and have in the show. Yeah, this is actually as if she's looking out the window, but this is not the cherub that's in that spot. I had to kind of change it because the one that is by the window is looking the opposite direction. So I did pick this one and kind of use that. What we're about to get into now is the cast drawing class, which we set up cast heads and we work directly from life and focus on values and the subtleties within the value changes using charcoal.
I believe I started that one first, and then what I had to do in my studio was I was unable to stretch it because I wouldn't fit it out the doorway. So I just used push pins on the linen and had them mounted on my wall in my studio. Painted, most of that there, and then had to roll it when it was dry and bring it to the gallery, Colorest, where I teach, and stretch it out there because that's where they were also framing it. But I played a lot with textures. So there's a great buildup of paint to achieve these heavy textures. So it was a great buildup of light, and then it was a layer of a darker glazing kind of transparent tone. And then what I would do is actually scratch away at that to reveal the dried layer underneath to create that texture and the illusion of that.
Is that a technique that you have used before, or is this something?
Yeah, it's sometimes when you're painting faces, it's unappealing for a commission portrait, but if you look at Rembrandt paintings, he did that a lot with his self-portraits, just to achieve, the texture of light and the importance of that to give that contrast within the light. But with this, it was more about, juxtaposing this heavy buildup of texture to the smooth airiness of that atmospheric perspective and the soft quality of that.
So it kind of pops.
Right. So it gives you a great kind of push and pull between the two. But when this is lit at night, you can really, appreciate the texture a little bit more because the direction of the light catches that and picks all of that up. But I used everything from palette knives to razor blades and an edge of a compass and scratched away. A lot of this is applied with palette knife and then layered. So there's quite a few layers. But this is actually, I titled this In Praise of Bacchus, and you see the offering of the grapes, and the other painting is more of a botanical kind of scenario. But again, it was all about the flatness of shadow, and then the texture of the light. And the funny thing is, sometimes there's more color changes in the shadows. So that's what really happens in here, because there's, the blue comes from the blue of the sky above, and then the warmth is the sunlight bouncing off of the rails and kind of reflecting back in. So there's a lot of different temperatures happening in the shadows. And these were just stills from the film that I had pulled up, and I tried pulling up an image from the internet, and they ended up printing out this tiny little head. Started working from those, and it just was not enough information, so I was actually pausing the film itself and looking.
Wow.
But this is all added in, so this is not from that scene in Norris, the Annie painting. So, but this was all about, these, as if he were the king. So in the Versailles room, this chandelier is kind of reminiscent of a crown, and I just felt like this is, able to sit on his head as the king of this. And also, as I said in my lecture, it's the proportion of it was intentional to kind of give you the same composition as like a playing card. So like he was the king of spades, let's say, because you have this side, and then it's like how in playing cards they would flip and have the image go in the opposite direction. So the composition is all here, and then brings you in over here.
Hmm.
But the ceilings in this room are just incredible.
Yeah.
I touched on it here, but you don't want to paint too much of that.
You mean by itself, it's...
It's so complex, it's just amazing. The work that went into this building is mind-blowing.